Hi, my name is Sam Greenspan. I'm an occupational therapist, and today I'm going to be showing you a modified Tai Chi practice to prevent falls for older adults. It's modified from a more complicated evidence-based practice. Um, it, it's been simplified to make it easier for folks to do at home with somebody on standby. And it'll all be in standing, so if you're going to participate in this with me, you need to be able to safely stand for 30 seconds to a minute, and you can always take breaks anytime you need to. Ideally, if you're a older adult, you're doing this with a family member or somebody with you, and you have a belt that they can use to help kind of support you if you have a loss of balance. Any kind of belt will do. Ideally a gait belt, but regular belts work fine too if they fit you. The biggest things to remember is not to rush, and you can take a break anytime you want. And ideally this is fun, and ideally you eventually do it with other people and you mix it up and you give it your own flavor. All right. So you start in standing, and all the movement starts with your breath. All right. And you're gonna find your ball here, and when you breathe in, your ball's gonna get bigger. When you breathe out, the ball's gonna get smaller. So all the movement starts with your breath. It doesn't start with your arms or your legs or anywhere else. So it's following your breath. If you find you're going too fast, you should try to go a little slower. It's okay to take more breaths. And we're starting with the left hand on top, but you can start with the right on top. It's about 5 breaths, and then we're going to switch. And do the same thing with the right hand on top. Breathing in, feel your belly get bigger with your arms. Breathe out, it gets smaller. Forgot to mention too, but you try to keep your legs about shoulder length apart. It's about 5. So for some people, this is already a lot to start with if you are working on your standing balance. We're going to switch over, have the left hand on top, and then we're going to start moving with our leaning side to side, all right, and an arm movement. So now, whenever you're ready, you're going to breathe in, and the arm that's on top is going to go over to the side, and you're going to lean. And then as the arm comes back to the center, you're going to breathe out. So you're breathing in, leaning, breathing out, back to center. Nice and slow. Breathing in, leaning over, breathing out, coming back to center. And again, I haven't been counting, but let's say that's about 5. And then it'd be the same thing on the other side, right? So you're gonna switch. Now your right hand's on top, so we're gonna be stepping to the right and leaning to the right. So you're breathing in, reaching over, leaning, breathing out as your arm comes back. Right. So it's breath, arm, lean, breathe out. Starting from the breath. And by connecting your breath to your movement, I'm hoping you find a rhythm, kind of like a wave of movement. All right. I'm gonna switch over to the left. And once you're comfortable with the leaning, we're gonna start bringing in an extra step and an extra breath. So now you're gonna breathe in and have a small step to the side with the arm that's on top, breathing in, and an arm movement, breathing out. On the next breath in, you're still gonna reach out, and then as your breath comes back, you kind of come back to center. So it's 2 breaths for a step. Breathing in, leaning, stepping, breathing out. Another breath in, breathing out, back to center. Try to make it as smooth and controlled as possible, but it's okay if it's not perfect. Don't let perfection get in the way of just doing it. And then you're gonna switch your arms. That was about 5. Same thing on the right side. So the arm that's on top, that's the direction that we're going and we're stepping. So you're breathing in, stepping, leaning, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out, back to center. It doesn't even have to be a big step. You can challenge yourself to take bigger steps later if you're feeling like it's too easy, but even a small step is just fine. Whatever feels right. You'll kind of fall into a rhythm with it the more you do it. Breathing in, step, reach out, breathe out. Breathing in, breathing out, comes back. All right. And once you're good with that, we're going to switch arms again, and I'm going to show you how to do steps forwards and backwards. You can always pause the video here and pick it up later once you have more endurance. And you can always take a break. You know, like I got a chair here. You know, take breaks anytime you need to. Get some water. If you're with somebody, they should check your vitals if you feel like you're short of breath at any time, or if you're feeling dizzy. So now we're going to continue, do some steps forwards and backwards with the same principles, right? So we're going to start with the left hand on top, breathing in, breathing out, just to kind of get back into our rhythm. And on your next breath in, right, the left hand's on top, so we're stepping forward, and you're breathing in. Same thing. And breathing in again, and as you breathe out, you're coming back to the center. Breathing in, breathing out. Extra breath, extra movement, back to center. Breathing in, arm, step, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out, back to center. Again, we'll try the other side, and the steps can get bigger as you get more confident. It can be a small steps. You're breathing in, make sure that arm gets out there. Breathing out, breathing in, you breathe out, you're back to the center. I suggest 5, but if you feel more up for 10, that's good too. You can even switch it up and alternate. It makes it more interesting for you. I just kind of start with doing 5 at a time, back to back. Usually the first couple, you're kind of figuring it out, right? Just kind of getting used to it. But as you get more fluid with it, it's good to switch it up, because then it's kind of a cognitive challenge too. Sort of like a red light, green light, but with different directions for Tai Chi. Now we're going to do stepping backwards, similar principle. So we'll start with the left hand again, right? Find your ball and your breath. And this one, when you're stepping backwards, there's going to be a slight pivot too. That's something to think about, but it could be a small step. Usually stepping backwards is more scary and challenging for people. You're gonna breathe in and start with the arm. Breathe out, step. Same thing. Breathing in, arms going back again. Even turn your head. As you breathe out, you come back to center. Just like a wave. A wave of movement. Still feel that weight shift when you're stepping. See if you can move your hips with it and rock. back to center. We'll switch arms, we'll do the same thing on the right side, right? So we're gonna lead with the right arm, step back with the right leg, breathing in, turning a little bit, pushing back. Breathing in, reaching back, stepping, breathing out. And breathe in again, reach out, lean, step forward. All right. So those are the main things. You could like pace it however you like. If this video ends up helpful for people, I'll try to do a sitting balance one too. It's similar principles, just applied to sitting. So yeah, let me know if you have any feedback and any other things that you'd like to see.